Why, up until now, have you not achieved anything, been looked down upon by others, been tossed around like a toy? Why, your self-esteem is always trampled by others, your interests always ignored by others, your emotions always toyed with by others. Those who do not understand human nature can only live at the bottom of the food chain, becoming prey for others. From childhood to adulthood, no one told you the truth about human nature. The things I say are not easy to accept, so please remember, read to the end to fully grasp the wisdom of the ancients. Greetings to all of you. There are two types of people most easily deceived. The first type, those who want to get rich overnight. Many people, their brains ruined by success studies, believe that relationships are the source of money, so they network everywhere. If you believe in the notion that relationships are the source of money for making friends, then your ultimate fate will be like a sheep on the grassland, head down grazing, unaware that the wolf has arrived. A person without value, even with many connections, is useless. This type of person, full of hope for the future, seeks opportunities everywhere, calculating how to get rich overnight. They think through connections and acquaintances they can make money without labor just by investing a little. They can become wealthy. The second type, those in hardship. They only want to escape their current dire situation, so they are easily exploited. When facing difficulties, they are very confused and panicked. Therefore, as soon as they see a chance to escape hardship, they often dive in head first, without considering the consequences, heading toward a dead end. When in trouble, people easily panic. The more they struggle in the swamp, the deeper they sink. In reality, this type of person is not troubled by their circumstances, but by their own mindset. The reason they are easily deceived is because humans naturally have a self-preservation instinct. For those in hardship, the right way is to stay calm, wait for an opportunity to escape. For example, when you're tangled in a rope, the more you struggle, the tighter it binds you, the more you want to break free, the more seriously you're trapped. The only way out is to stop moving, carefully observe the tangled mess of ropes, find the real knots causing the trap, and slowly free yourself. That's the wise method. Who is the hardest to deceive? Those with the personality of a spy, the analytical type, with intelligence like Sherlock Holmes, with a high sense of vigilance, setting up strong protective barriers. This type of person easily sees through whether others are lying. In their world, they assume in advance that everyone has their own motives and agendas in their actions and words. They believe there's no such thing as a free lunch. Whenever an opportunity arises, they act like police interrogating a criminal, carefully probing every angle, absolutely refusing to easily trust anyone's one-sided words. This is both their strength and their weakness. They are very sensitive to lies, but at the same time, very poor at recognizing when others are telling the truth. All value is packaged from the outside. Many businesses love packaging. Packaging is to enhance value, but most of that value is fake. Businesses that package don't directly deceive people. They operate in a gray area. As long as it doesn't conflict with their conscience, it's a good marketing tactic. Packaging is about deceiving with smooth claims, exploiting human illusions, indirectly presenting what you want them to believe, making the other party willingly form assumptions that benefit you. I met a success coach. He was very enthusiastic. Right upon meeting, he told me how much money he'd made, then said some director had to pay tens of millions just to meet him. He spoke nonstop like a machine gun. He taught with dedication, every lecture full of passion, a few times lecturing until he spat blood. I listened and laughed inwardly, nearly spitting out the water I hadn't yet swallowed. I quickly restrained myself, afraid laughing too much would make him lose face. I was even more afraid that he'd spit blood right in front of me to prove what he said was true. He said so much just to get me to pay to become his agent. If it were you, would you trust that person? When someone tells you something, do you absolutely have to believe them? Everyone, please remember, skepticism is your most important ability. Use skepticism to verify the truth. It's far more important than blindly believing. We're not worried about others doubting us, because whether our philosophy and courses can help you, you've already weighed it in your heart. We don't need to say more with our mouths. The product itself speaks for everything. Sun Tzu's Art of War teaches us, war is the art of deception. In commerce, is there anyone who absolutely doesn't deceive? The answer is no. In the past, we had a top salesperson. Later we found out, when selling to clients, he always said our company had a factory of thousands of square meters. In reality, it was only a few hundred square meters. Isn't that deception? It's always been this way. As long as you're human, after age 3, you'll know how to deceive. The process of growing up is deciding what can be told to others, what cannot be told. No one escapes deception. It's an instinct for survival in nature. Some animals also use colors to deceive their enemies. Mark Twain said, "All of us have lied, deceived others, and must lie." Master liars won't be foolish enough to tell all lies. Telling nothing but lies, no one would believe. To make others believe, you must mix truth and lies, lies blended with a few clear truths. Then listeners will believe it's real. Master deceivers won't be dumb enough to tell all lies. Telling all lies, no one believes. To make others believe, truth and lies must intertwine. Amidst a pile of lies, sprinkle a few very clear truths. Then listeners will believe it's true. In reality, scammers who borrow money don't borrow a huge amount right away, but build trust gradually. First, they borrow $50,000, borrow and repay. Then borrow $100,000, borrow and repay. Repeating this many times, the amount borrowed grows larger. When it's big, they borrow fast and repay fast until the other party fully trusts them. Then they borrow a massive sum and disappear. When you meet someone like that, you must be cautious. Some have calculated the average adult lies 1 to 3 times a week, of which 1 or 2 times are to their spouse. 90% of people admit they frequently lie. 20% of people, if they don't lie for a day, feel very uncomfortable. Someone surveyed and analyzed thousands of lies, finding that college students lie once every 3 conversations on average. Surveys are just for reference, not a reliable source. Even ordinary people lie, let alone cunning merchants. We need the vision of yin and yang to see through the tricks of scammers. We must handle things more cleverly than them. Masters of deception often add a line at the start, "Actually, you don't have to fully trust me." This sentence makes you more likely to believe them. When deceived, don't curse them. Ask yourself, why did I trust others so easily? Animals are also clever. For example, when cats fight, their fur stands up all over, making them seem bigger than they are. In the business world, there are many such cats. Learn from deceivers. Yes, you heard right. I'll say it again. Learn from deceivers. Not just their tricks, but also their personality and foresight. From a moral standpoint, the actions of deceivers are condemned by society. The law won't tolerate them either. Except for their malicious hearts, their strengths are surely something everyone should learn. Confucius said, "Even thieves have their code." What we need to learn is how they survive. The code of deceivers is a skill every business person must master. First, learn the foresight of deceivers. Generally, in business, people only have naive, romantic fantasies that everyone is their customer, not distinguishing clearly who their real customers are. Alas, without a good method to identify and test customers, every time they meet a client, they care too much about the client, lowering their own value. Only able to respect the client inwardly, not outwardly. The more respect shown outwardly, the more the client looks down on them. That way, it's hard to make money from them. I've seen some telemarketers calling hundreds, even thousands of times a day, unable to close a single deal, feeling down, smoking several packs a day. Why? Because the client on the other end cursed them. Deceivers surely never feel anxious. They don't scam everyone. They choose their targets. They have a systematic method to evaluate clients who can be scammed, who cannot. They can see clearly from the first encounter, not wasting time on the wrong targets. Second, learn the personality of deceivers. Many people, when seeking new clients, often get rejected, leading to discouragement. They start deceiving themselves that the more rejections they face, the more likely a client will say yes. When truly helpless, they can only seek motivational gurus to impart inner strength. Deceivers follow a philosophy. A thief never leaves empty-handed. If one scam fails, they immediately switch to another, never giving up. They keep going until they trick someone, never losing heart. Their spirit is far better than yours. If one trick doesn't work, they switch to another, endlessly adaptable, striking randomly until you're wounded and bleeding. They don't believe that, with more rejections, as long as you persist, the next client will surely say yes, like a fairy tale. Third, learn the methods of deceivers. When meeting clients, you lower yourself too much, unable to make them feel they need you. Instead, you make them feel you need them badly. The client's value always exceeds yours. With a lowly status, it's hard to sell to someone of higher status. Deceivers, once they act, can make their own value sky high, the victim's value very low. Many deceivers package themselves as wealthy tycoons, stripping victims of control, making victims feel they desperately need them. Their methods are brilliant, leaving victims no choice. In contrast, they have many options. They see through human nature. As long as you do business and want to sell, you must grasp human nature. If you don't see through human nature, no matter how good your ideas, products, or character, you won't make much money. Deceivers study human nature deeply. They see greed and weaknesses in people. They can guide people step by step to get everything they want. The principles of marketing experts and deceivers are the same, differing only in one breaks the law, the other doesn't. Fourth, learn their learning spirit. Most people fail because they don't like learning. Lei Jun, Xiaomi CEO, said, "The world doesn't lack smart people, but those who seize opportunities." Deceivers, once a method fails, dive into learning immediately. They're always ahead in technology. Look at shady online industries, those selling men's enhancement drugs. Their marketing is top-notch. They move with the times, upgrading and improving themselves, while most people just do manual labor for money. What you hate is what you need. What you like isn't what you need. What you hate is exactly what you need. First, let me ask you, does anyone like black coffee? Does anyone like beer? Does anyone like raw oysters? Does anyone like smoking? And does anyone like durians? I think many adults would enjoy the things I just mentioned. The foods I asked about may not be loved by everyone, but you'll notice once someone likes these foods, they often can't give them up, even frequently craving them. So, I'll ask you again, those foods I mentioned, do they taste good the first time you tried them? I think most people would say no, not only not tasty, but unpleasant at first. But as long as we keep eating, gradually, we can sense a different flavor. From bitterness, we can taste the sweetness of black coffee, feel the coolness from beer's bitterness, from raw oysters feel a thrill. Even from the stench of durians, sense a rich fragrance. Everything I just mentioned are foods adults enjoy. Let me ask you all, do you give black coffee, beer, raw oysters, durians to kids to eat? I think you surely wouldn't be foolish enough to do that, because children's taste buds are very simple. They mostly just like cakes, soft candies, sweet drinks. But adults' taste buds have become diverse. An adult's tongue can taste heavenly flavors from bitterness, even from stench.